In this episode, we'll talk about global settings and options in both WordPress and ProcessWire. By default, WordPress provides you with a number of global settings and options. They can be accessed under the Settings section in the admin. Alternatively, they can also be accessed using WordPress's Customizer feature, which allows you to view certain changes in real time. Let's see that now. So under Appearance, I can go to Customize. And I can see some of those settings like site title, which we just saw. Making a change shows it in real time. Let's go back to the original settings section here. Perhaps the most basic setting is the site title. You also have the ability to create your own options in addition to the ones seen here and in these subpages. The WordPress Codex describes how you can create your own options and provides you with some sample code. However, we can use a plugin like ACF to create an options page, which is a bit easier, or we can simply use a generator like this one here to create some of our own options as well. Let's go ahead and quickly do that. I'll go ahead and put this under the options section. And we'll add a field called developer name. And I'll go ahead and generate this code. Now I'll take this code, and normally I should utilize this as a WordPress plugin, but for the sake of time, I'm going to just paste this in my functions.php file of my currently active theme. So let's refresh our admin in WordPress and see this new settings page. And as you can see, we now have a section called additional options. And I can set the developer name. And it's now saved. In ProcessWire, there really aren't any predefined global settings and options because ProcessWire is not an opinionated system. However, creating custom options is extremely easy because it acts just like any other page with its own template and fields. Let's create a custom options page with a field for site title, much like WordPress has. First, let's create a template called Site Options. Now notice we're creating a template without a file because this template does not need to be viewed on the front end, so ProcessWire gives us the ability to create templates without an actual PHP file being created in the file system. And let's add that template. Now let's go ahead and add a field called Site Title. Let's give it the text type. And save it. Now let's assign this field to the Site Options template that we just created. And let's put that after the title. So now let's create a page called Site Options, which utilizes our Site Options template file. And now we have a field for site title. So we now have our options page, and we can utilize this, as I mentioned, on the front end, and it works just like any other page. So let's go ahead and insert this site title in a place that would make the most sense. Let's go ahead and insert it in the title tag after the title of the page itself. And to simply output it, we just need to grab the site options page and then output the site title field. So let's now view the front end of the site and see if it is in fact in our title tag. And as you can see, it has been placed there. There's a couple other things we can do to make this approach a bit more clean. First, let's make sure that this page is hidden from any searches. And second, let's make sure that the site options template can't be used again. So let's lock that down. And finally, the title field for the site options template does not need to be shown, so let's go ahead and hide that. One last powerful tip to pull this all together is to make this site options page easily accessible from the primary navigation here. To do this, we first need to create another page under the admin page. Let's call it Site Options, and make sure to use the admin template. We then want to change the process to the Page Edit process. Save your changes. And as you can now see, we have a Site Options navigation tab. If we go to it, it's going to give us a weird message, and that's because we need to make one more slight modification. In your ProcessWire templates folder, open the admin.php file. And now we need to add a special line of code. What this line does is that it detects if we're on the site options page, and it will then set the input variable to the page ID that we want to grab. If we go to the site options page, you will now see that it loads the page correctly.